Hi there, Mark Jabin here, Medical Director for the Haywood County Health Department, and let's talk about this pandemic. In this video, it seems like the booster shots are getting a lot of attention recently in the media. So let's unpack what we know about the need for booster shots. And the bottom line is, not yet, but a new estimate of herd immunity that's out may change that. So please share this with someone you care about. So Pfizer has announced on several occasions that it believes boosters are needed 6 to 12 months after initial vaccination series. The CDC and FDA say otherwise. To properly understand why you're hearing differing opinions, let's review how the immune system works. In the original vaccine trials, immune system response was based on the level of antibodies produced to the spike protein on the virus surface. And you'll recall that the virus uses that spike protein to bind to and enter a cell in the body. You'll also recall that we are seeing mutations to the spike protein that helps the virus more easily enter a cell and more easily evade the immune response created by the vaccines. So clearly, antibody levels are important. But that's not the entire story. There is more going on in the immune system response than just that. There are also T cells and B cells. T cells, called helper T cells, identify the pathogen and alert other cells to what's going on, like killer T cells, which destroy the pathogen. B cells are where the antibodies are made. And when notified and stimulated, they start pumping out antibodies. Usually, it takes about 7 to 10 days to get going after an initial exposure. Once the infection is dealt with, though, the B cells don't go away. Some become what are called memory B cells. They hang out in the lymph nodes, spleen, and other places, lying in wait, so that if the pathogen is detected again, those memory B cells can quickly jump to work, pumping out more antibodies more quickly. So measuring antibody activity alone doesn't tell the full picture. Actually, it's expected that your antibody levels will go down as an infection wanes. No reason to keep making something no longer needed. But as you can see, that does not necessarily mean you are less protected. In some studies, actually, antibody levels after these vaccines have not gone down, but have persisted, and in some studies actually increased months later. This raises the possibility that we may not need booster shots. The Delta variant, however, is 4 times more contagious than the original virus. And although all the vaccines remain as effective at preventing hospitalization and death from Delta, they are a little less effective at actually preventing infection. Still good, but less. And that's the experience in Israel and the UK, even for fully vaccinated people. With the increased contagiousness, more infections. More infections mean more mutations. More mutations mean more variants. The challenge with this virus all along has been that people are contagious before symptoms begin, making it impossible to know who is exposing who and making it that much more difficult to contain. With the increased contagiousness of the Delta, the current estimate now is that herd immunity would take closer to 90% of the population, not the 70 to 80% that has been suggested earlier. That's the effect of variants. Increasing infections are one thing, though, especially among those fully vaccinated. But if we start to see increasing hospitalizations and increasing deaths among those fully vaccinated, that will likely be our signal that it's time for boosters. At this point, though, it seems a bit premature to recommend boosters for everyone. So here's the key. Fewer infections mean fewer mutations, less risk of more worrisome variants, less need for a booster. And given what we are and are not doing in our personal choices, right now, the best bang for the buck is to spend our energy and resources getting everyone vaccinated with their first doses around the country and the world. Because as long as there are places in the world still unprotected, we in the U.S. are unlikely to get out from under the shadow of this virus. So be well and stay tuned, but for right now, it's not yet time for boosters. And as always, be careful, especially right now.